Hey guys, Matt Lighty here, and today we're going to go over my 3.22 League Starter build, Cobra Lash Assassin. Now, before we dig into what exactly I'm going to do, let's take a minute to look at what other people did in the previous league, being Crucible. Okay, so we're on PoE Ninja. We're going to set this to regular Crucible trade, and then we're going to type in Cobra Lash and click on, well, before we click on Assassin, not that many people are playing this build. There's a chunk, and you could really hard push this with enough money, but I'm being an assassin, not that many. Was this like 20? 19 characters. Okay. A lot of them are doing very similar things. You can see like half of them are wearing Dendrobates and things like that. Now, if we check the same principles in hardcore, there is 3 people going from 72 to 92. We check it in regular solo self-found, 3 people, 87 to 90, and hardcore solo self-found, 1 guy. I guess for the weird meme, we'll just check ruthless. 4 dudes, more represented actually than normal. So let's go back to normal. Cobra Lash, I think 3 guys made it to 100. However, they could have easily swapped to this, so you know, but they're playing it at 100. This guy has very achievable gear, and that's kind of what I expect out of your average Cobra Lash enjoyer. The next guy has thrown the bank at this a little bit using a triple large cluster 5 megalomaniac setup, flesh and flame. He's got an okay Watcher's Eye, a Armageddon Veil, the Veil mask off of Trial Master to get the socketed gem reduction, but also maintain a rare helmet. A lot of cool interactions going here. Double corrupt gloves. Things cost more for this man. You can see he's got +3 body. This is probably like the higher end of Cobra Lash investment. The correct enchantments, the alt quality gems. He's got the stuff, you know? It doesn't take much to find that that guy was one of the really few guys who was willing to sink large amounts of money into this, because as we kind of go on, there's a couple of guys with similar setups, and then it starts to trickle back to what you'd expect. The plebeians, if you will. More of those than not. But there's a couple patterns amongst builds and a couple things that we've seen from people who play Cobra Lash, and some of them are pretty good ideas. And we're going to embrace some of those good ideas. Now, there's a couple things in our build that we're going to have to explain in advance. But first, let me just show you the exact basics of what Cobra Lash looks like. Hello, hi, it's me, your average Cobra Lash enjoyer, Lighty_Schwawei Piao Piao. I'm a naked shadow, albeit level 97. We are going to engage with the very beginning of what Cobra Lash would look like. Get ourselves a nice little tabby going on, purchase our Cobra Lash, which we do get level 1. So we'll be leveling with Cobra Lash from the very beginning. And to clarify what it does, it's a skill that has so much going for it, but still really doesn't work, which is wild to me, because it has built-in chain, built-in damage conversion, built-in poison, built-in damage per remaining chain, so if you can crank up your chain count, it does subsequently more damage, and it basically has perfect agony built in, which is increased dot damage from crits. It has all the things. It still underperforms by the grace of God. Slap on our trusty Astramentus so we can wear all our gear and gems. I'm just gonna put on a white Void Fang just so I can Cobra Lash. This is what it looks like though. It doesn't return or anything like that. It just goes out in chains and yada yada. Our main supports are Cruelty, Added Chaos, Vicious Projectiles, Void Manipulation, and Unbound Ailments. One of the fun things about this build is there's something really nice to be playing a build that has 4 Awakened Gems that are all of the lower tier. So you'll get them way more common. It's very reasonable within a week or two in SSF to have almost all these Awakened Gems. These could very well be your first 4. We're not looking for multi-strikes or, you know, things like that here. And all it is just damage. There's nothing, no modality changing, no mechanical differentials, just damage. Even all your auras are defensive or offensive, but nothing's changing what your character fundamentally does. Now, are there MTXs for Cobra Lash? There is one Illusionist, which makes it look all like a kunai, I guess, that shoots out and goes crazy looking. Let's head over to the Blood Aqueducts and just show you what it looks like to even Cobra Lash, because this is going to be the bulk of my beginning experience, honestly. So you throw out the lash and it bounces between things, and it does poison damage, and that's the entire build, doing poison damage, and they'll be dotting things up and you'll move on with life. So It's a walk-in dot build. You do that and you keep going. And then in a perfect world, they'd be dead. I'm having so much fun already. So now you've seen just the basics of what Cobra Lash looks like legally. Let's actually look at the skeletal infrastructure of the build. Now, after looking at all the Cobra Lash builds on Pee Wee Ninja, talking to some people who played it previously, I've gotten kind of an amalgamation of what I want to do. This is my tree. I'm going to go for 2 large clusters instead of 3. I don't know if I'll have any medium jewels. I doubt I'll have any megalomaniacs. So I'm not going to go super crazy. So if you were to cut off those 2 large clusters, the level requirement for this tree goes from 96 to like fucking, I don't even know, 75 or 80. Even if you just drop the 2 mediums and the behind node, that puts you around 88. Now, the ascendancy of being assassin leads us to a few things. There's a couple quality of life things that this build does have that feels good. One of them is you're relatively quick. You have a near maxed crit rate through your tree and your ascendancy, and you're gaining elusive on crit with increased elusive effect, so you're pretty much always moving faster than normal. Ambush and assassinate just means your first hit is gonna almost always crit, and it's going to be harder, and your last hits will do the same. Plus, it gives you Culling Strike, so it's 10% more damage. Now, back to Mistwalker. You can get elusive on boots. We go to Craft of Exile and check out the boot subsection. Control S, Control F, elusive, Redeemer, elusive on crit. If you were to craft yourself some nice elusive on crit boots, res, movement speed, yada yada, and you know, the Tailwind combo, the traditional elusive Tailwind boot combo of Redeemer plus Hunter. If you do get that boot done, which probably takes you maybe a couple weeks because it's a little hard to get the Maven Orbs and the Awakened Orbs and all that stuff. Once you do that, I would without question drop Mistwalker and then just pick up Unstable Infusion. And if you did that, I would just grab this 1 power charge. That's about it. Aside from that change, just for more consistent critting, I would just keep on Mistwalker while leveling, while mapping. Feels good, smells good, tastes good. The 3 parts aren't changing. Ambush Assassinate's always going to probably be picked. Noxic Strike is the obvious one. Now, we saw that Cobra Lash has 40% chance to poison. Noxious Strike is 40% chance to poison. And on Tree, you have more than 40% chance to poison. So you're poison cap. It also gives you duration for each poison you've inflicted, which is great. Duration is great for poisons. When you get poison ticks more faster, this is better. Also, the life recovery per poison affecting enemies you kill is very good. It's a lot of life on kill, a lot of sustainability, so very nice there. And the final node, Toxic Delivery, really just gives you more damage. It's poisons you inflict with crits deal more damage. I'm almost always critting, so it's almost always working. Also gaining base crit per poison. As far as tree pathing, we're kind of getting out of the starting area as much as you can. Unfortunately, we don't get very many claw nodes because they're not very good, most of them. Second claw node at the bottom, picking up the life gain on hit for the main hand, just feels really comfy. The actual poison nodes themselves, we're picking up more duration, more multi, the ticking down faster, and enemies poisoned by you cannot deal crits is okay. Very small intuitive leaps that appear. This is like really min-maxing. If you don't have intuitive leap, doesn't matter. You just pick up the small nodes. Ghost Stance is very good at this build. We do have a decent chunk of ES, so we're picking up more ES things. We are suppression capped as well. We have all the suppression things, all the nice movement speed things from Quick Step. Multi-shot for an additional projectile is very, very comfy. No masteries worth picking up under attack, except for monsters can't block attacks, but I'd really only grab this if you're doing Expedition. Not much block elsewhere in the game. At the top here, picking up the Chaos and the Poison nodes, Fizz nodes. Cobra Lash itself does 60% conversion. This is the other 40%. Whispers of Doom is within reach. Now, a little bit of a spoiler for the gear setup. We do have Asenath, which is temp chains on hit. If for some reason your gloves also rolled an extra corruption that was a good curse, or you wanted to roll a separate curse setup like a mark setup, feel free to pick up Whispers of Doom. It's 4 points and it's very good. Assassin's Mark is very good. Like, you could run Assassin's Mark if you wanted to, no problem. Then we got 2 large cluster setups. Again, people run 3 if you're in Trade League because cluster's really good. But our clusters are the same as theirs. We take a look at them real quick. Dark Ideation, which is just a bunch of chaos damage. Unholy Grace, chaos damage attack speed. Unwavering, evil, more chaos damage. It's just all the good chaos damage. And for actual gear setups, there's some things that are super basic here. You know, Asenath is very good because temp chains are good for chaos builds and explosions are good, so Asenath is good. It is kind of rare, so kind of hard to get, but you'll find them eventually in SSF. Dendron bait's very common. This is where our poison setup's going to be. 6-link is in this. It gives us additional chance to poison. It gives us extra damage, extra duration. We'll have both the stats for that. And the nice thing is it has no life tags on it. So when we pick up our life mastery for the 15% extra life when there are no life modifiers in the body, it works for Dendron bait. So that's the thing you want to get the most. If you're in Trade League, purchase Dendron bait first. Now we're wearing Fairgrave's tricorn helmet, which is a bit of an explanation. Okay, so on my Atlas tree, I'm picking up all the ghost stuff. And there's a lot of new ghost stuff. Like tormented spirits possess you, and there's extra tormented spirits and they touch you, and all that good stuff. Now, why does that matter for Fairgraves? Using Fairgraves' helmet has a lot of interesting interactions. It has the line, you could be touched by tormented spirits. Okay, so my Atlas is heavily tormented. It's as much as it could be. And this lets us be touched by spirits. So if we get touched by a spirit and then it possesses us, we get whatever the spirit has for 20 seconds. We also get this additional buff called the Fairgraves Tricorn buff. 50% damage, attack speed, cast, and movement. That's right, 50% movement speed. It doesn't stack, but it lasts indefinitely. So if you enter a map, you touch a ghost, this buff's onto the entire map. It also grants the corresponding buffs listed below when you touch the ghost. So if I'm possessed by a ghost and I walk into a second ghost, or if there's two ghosts, I walk through one, get possessed by the other, they can't stack the type of touch you have. So I can't get Alchemist twice, right? But what I can get is possessed by an Alchemist, get the Fairgraves buff the whole instance, and then touched by an Arsonist. And these will probably overlap and override back and forth, but it lets you get the benefit of ghosts more than average and a huge benefit of attack speed and movement speed. Which is really tremendous for Cobra Lash, and the damage I will not say no to. Very, very good. A little bit rare, but very, very good. Now, the enchant on it being Cobra Lash 3 times is obviously Cobra Lash already chains like 4 or 5 times. Why would you want more chains? More chains better, always better. But also Cobra Lash does more damage per remaining chain. So for single target purposes, it makes sense. More so, the Divergent, the alt quality for Cobra Lash, does additional hits and ailments for remaining chains as the quality. That's really, really, really strong. Now you add ashes on top of that to increase that quality. That's even more strong. So let's look up for right now PoE on Cobra Lash, because there's some interesting things to see here. Typically getting alt qualities for gems in SSF sucks. Not the case here. The Divergent is 100% weighting off of the Superior. So you start with Superior, and it's legit a 50-50 that you hit chaining range or Divergent. Now because it's an active gem, getting prime regrading lenses in Heist is about 5 times as more common than getting secondary regrading lenses. So when you run 5 gem grand heists that are, say, 3 wings each, you're gonna probably find a prime, and there's a 50-50, it's gonna get you the end quality one you want. So it giving 15% per scaling is huge. This being scaled up through ashes is tremendous, because at the end game, you'll have 8 chains. What is that damage? Oh God, math. I'm getting mathed out. 296% increased damage for single target because you'll have no chains going out. So those are all the remaining chains with ashes up. That's a lot of extra damage for single target. That's a lot of just all that added damage for poison. This is how you really help your poison get going. Other ways for single target to help that is the old song and dance that is so boring at this point, but it is the meta, which is Ancestral Protector, Multi-Totem, Withering Touch. You could even just add in a fucking faster attacks here to make it happen faster. Withering Touch gives you that Wither debuff, more poison damage. Ancestral Protector gives you way more attack speed. If you want additional clear, I'm not probably going to use it, but people really love it. Plague Bear gobbles up a percentage of your poison you do, and then shits it out as a big dumpy around you. I would rather attack packs or single target for an extra 30 seconds than use Plague Bear. If you've never used it, Plague Bear is very, very good. Other gem setups include Auras, Clarity, Malevolence, Grace. Keeps my mana topped up if needed. You can adjust level of Clarity according to your situation. Steel Skin, Cast Name is Taken. Keeps bleeds off you, keeps you alive. Low level precisions for accuracy. Then Dash for movement skill, but just pick whichever one you like the most. Some people like to run Whirling Blades. Some people like to run Flame Dash. For gearing, Wasp Nests are totally fine early on. If you're looking at other uniques, Taproot is okay if you're going daggers. Rest of the gearing is kind of just like rare, you know? You want to have rare rings, you can run a rare helmet if you don't have Fairgraves, you can run a rare amulet with +1 levels, accuracy, res, life. Nothing new, nothing fancy. That's basically it for the skills. That's really it for the gear. And for the paths, there's really not much more to go over. Feel free to check out the other people playing Cobra Lash in the previous league. Maybe draw some inspiration here and there. Things like at Zeri's Reflection, when you feel like you have enough damage. It's a super great defensive item. Things like getting fancy Circles of Nostalgia for those big chunks of stats from Herald of Agony. Although getting ones like his with Onslaught on hit and accuracy is going to be pretty difficult. Cobra Lash is kind of, well, yeah, it's kind of not played very often, let's be honest. And there's a reason for that. But, like many builds in Path, if you give it the Nitro Big Dick Fuel Injection, it'll get you there. Already typing comments about what you're trying to recommend Cobra Lash for me to use. I would save your breath, because we're in dark territory here. I mean, there's a reason it's underrepresented in Trade League. It's not that it's not very good as much as there's just things that are better. Cobra Lash is totally viable. It's just the Hyundai of cars. I'd rather just have a Subaru, you know? Now, I know 3.22 is right around the corner. For me, as far as this video is coming out, it's tomorrow. So I figured let's end the video on not just saying goodbye, but I wanted to give you my top 5 favorite Cobras, of which Cobra Lash isn't one of them. Now at number 5, we have Cobra's Curse, which is a roller coaster in Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. My favorite part about the video is the rumbling. Listen to the fucking camera. They didn't mount the GoPro strong enough. It's just rumbling like a motherfucker. At number 4, we have Cobra, which is New Jersey's health insurance program for the elderly. If you're old and live in New Jersey and qualify for Cobra insurance, and you have...
Oh, here we go. Of the Public Employees Retirement System,
yep,
or PERS, and the Teachers Pension and Annuity Fund, or TPIF. With school years on
where
your
will your
retirement
pension be calculated? Number 3, we have the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone from 1986. Fun part of this film, the first 8 seconds, they said about breeding a new type of criminal and a new type of cop. But when I first saw this film in the trailer, I kept thinking they said new type of cock.
Society is breeding a new kind of criminal. It's also breeding a new kind of cop.
You hear it?
Meet Cobra. He does the job.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's cock is bringing bread. Number 2, of course, we have to do Cobra Tate, Andrew Tate himself, for the motivational quotes that can't be stopped.
One of 3 things. You're either arrogant, lazy, or stupid. You can decide which one you want to be. Maybe you're a mixture of all 3, but you are. Because when I try and tell people how to make money, they usually come back with something like, yeah, but I think... Who cares what you think? If thinking got you where you are, then maybe you should stop.
I agree. Cobra Tate, always a classic. And my number 1 Cobra, without question, is King Cobra. JFS would recommend. He has great reviews on drinking different alcohols. He loves sake. Look at him go. Yeah, that's the best Cobra in my book, not Cobra Lash.
Oops.
That's my Cobra Lash Assassin Guide. I'm Matt Lighty. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them before League starts. But after that, like I said, we're exiting the land of Cobra Lash and entering the land of Subaru. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Lighty out. Bye-bye.